What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set.
Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate-based podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layered backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Season 3.
Yay.
Happy New Year, everybody.
It is the year 2024, and it, as always, it's gonna take us some time to get used to saying it. And anytime we have to write the date out, we're gonna go 23. We're gonna go 23, and I go, oh,
whoopsie,
and I have to change it.
It always definitely took me like that first week coming back to school, plus that first full week, because you always came back sometimes on like that Thursday or Friday, and then you came back for the first full week of the year, and you're still messing up on the years, like, oh, it's not 22, it's 23 or 23, 24. So yeah, it always takes you a couple days to kind of get used to writing the new like digit of the year.
Yeah, and I mean, really, that happens for us month to month too, right? Like, it gets to the next month, and you're like, oh,
whoopsie,
it's not December anymore; it's January now. You're used to 3 months of writing 2 digits down for the month, and then you're like, nope.
Yeah, always playing jokes on you.
You write 12. You write 12 down for the month, and then you're just like, can I just make this a really fat 1, right?
Yeah. Scribble on
you're
the two. Instead of making it like a little curve, you're like, just straighten that curve out a little bit.
And my OCD always kicks in when I'm like, okay, if I like try to rewrite the number, I'm like, I have to go back and write over everything so it all looks uniform, because otherwise it just looks like complete crap, right?
So then it just looks like complete chicken. Whoopsie. So you're okay, white out.
Cool. My holiday was, I wouldn't say uneventful. It's just for Christmas we went away, which I was telling you that we were going to, and it was very much that's what we did, and hung out with her fam a little bit, and then came home, did Christmas here. Got to see my fam and my nieces like we always do. We did our white elephant exchange, and yeah, and then I wound up working. I wound up being scheduled to work last week because the job I had was supposed to be temporary for only like a couple weeks, and then it was like they didn't tell me not to show up, so I just went to work Tuesday, and then they actually had me on the schedule for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is of last week. Thursday we wound up having to take the dog to the vet, so I wound up not going in Thursday, and I was able to go in Friday, which was fine. Went into work Friday.
Yeah, you've been working. I was gonna be like, tell me how it is to work, Jimmy.
It's definitely backwards from what I'm used to, like, because usually over the break I'm not working at all, right? And
yeah, man. I mean, I'm totally proud of you, the fact that you're able to kind of just still, like, because I know, when you don't have the gigs coming, you're not working. When you have the gigs, you're working. So
yeah,
one
Yeah.
that you've been able to kind of keep the whole thing going, and it's just been like a week for week thing for you to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep on going. I mean, they're not going to tell me to leave. I'm just going to keep on going. So at least you have been getting like a steady flow of income for the last couple weeks. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because I try to save up a little bit on top of buying Christmas presents and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I try to save up so that like while I'm not working, I have like a fund to be able to like not just live like normal day to day, but like if there's anyone home or in town or like that is off and wanted to get together. I did have that like situation come up, but like they wanted to go to Atlantic City. A couple friends of mine, and I was like, I they wanted to go last Thursday night, and I think that they did, and I was like, I gotta work, man. Like so.
Yeah.
And I honestly was like, I don't feel like forking over the money to go to Atlantic City. I have it, but like then I well, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a moment. I just I was like, okay, I know because my contract for that job was through middle of December, so I was like, okay,
Mhm.
they're almost definitely not like I'm done after December, right?
Yeah.
So I clocked out Friday and I left. I wound up staying an extra hour, just to squeeze in the extra hour while I
Hmm.
could. And then my supervisor texted me and was like, I noticed you didn't clock out for lunch. And I was like, well, I only usually work like 6 hour shifts. And if I work a little longer, I just work a little longer. She's like, okay, for future reference, you have to clock out. You have to take a lunch break if you work 6 hours. I was like, okay, good to know. And I was like, for future reference. And then she texted me a couple minutes later and was like, I'll let you know about next week. So I was like, oh, okay. So New Year's was we're filming this on Tuesday.
Uh,
I was like in my head, okay, she's probably not going to text me on Monday and ask me to come in on Tuesday. So this actually worked out because we're filming daytime, which is nice.
a
Um,
rare commodity, but you know,
yeah,
I would have
yeah,
been working, but I'm still unemployed.
yeah.
So
Well,
people hit me up.
yeah,
Gigs, bio, pharma, hit me up.
yeah. And I mean, but you are anticipating a birthing very soon,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that's
man.
that's pretty
It's
cool.
just I'm really glad that I'm able to be here on the season opener today because it's at the point now, even though her due date is at the end of the month, but we think he's going to be here probably within the next week or two. You
Within the
know,
week, yeah.
so we're just like it's to the point like, well, I'm here this week. I'm gonna let you know if I'm gonna be here next week, or if I'm here next week, I might let you know if I might be. It's kind of like your job. Like we'll let you know about next week. Like
Yeah. It's very uncertain.
yeah,
So I mean, I'm not mad about it if they're like, yeah, sorry, you're not coming in anymore because I didn't even expect to work last week. I wasn't even sure if I
exactly.
was working the week before that. So, um, if I can get a couple more days in this week, like if they want me to come in the next 3 days or two of the days, even one of the days I'll go in and then, I'll see that paycheck next Friday.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and then by next week I'll be back to teaching and so then everything will start feeling regular again and I start January is always the start of my beat addicts company.
Hmm.
So we have I have three projects that I'll be starting with three of my partners in that company, my co-choreographers for those pieces. Um, that
Very nice.
I'm pretty excited about. And what I like to do because we can ask for like a specific number of routines up to like if you work both branches, you can get I think 6 routines,
Hmm.
which I've done before. Like 5 years ago, I did that. But you have to have 2 Sundays a month available to do that, and
Hmm.
it's also coordinating with. I was like, I did two when I jumped back on board a couple years ago. I did just 2 pieces, and then I upped it to 3 last year, and I was like, I think three's good for now,
Right.
and I was fortunate enough last year that my 3 rehearsals were all like 3 in a row. Every rehearsal I had just 3 hours straight. Um, and a lot of people, when they go to 4 routines, they wind up having 2 hours here and then like an hour in the middle and then 2 hours here, which like getting the break is all right, but it ties up 5 hours of your day. And I was like, if I have 3
Exactly.
pieces, just like 3 hours straight, boom, boom, boom. And it's cool the way that the schedule works. It's you're either like I'm either 2:30 to 5:30, or I'm I guess I'd be 4:30, because they started a new half hour like sharing time where we get to see each other's pieces, which like I'm very 50-50 about, because we used to not see everybody's pieces until they were done like at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But they're doing a new, so any rate, I'm either 2:30 to 5:30, 3 hours straight, or I guess that would be 4:30 to 5:30, 6 to 7, 7 to 8. So a little longer if I'm in the second window of time, but it's nice because I'm not always at the end of the night on a Sunday, and I'm not always right in the middle. It's just when you are at the end, like when you have that Sunday evening work shift. Sorry, got distracted for a second. Yeah, when you have that Sunday evening thing, you wake up and you do Sunday morning, and then you can hang out Sunday afternoon, and it's like, all right, now
Yeah.
I gotta go to work kind of thing.
Right.
But the kids are really great. They're not, none of them are from any of the studios that I teach at, so it's pretty cool. And it's very my one project I actually have is a little bit more technical based, which I teach acro, but I'm not teaching like contemporary choreography right now. But I like this one project. I'll have the opportunity to do that, so I am looking forward to that. But yeah, any rate, just went on a little tangent about that a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Another
looking.
year, another, you know, steps for everything, and it's like you said, when you start the new year, it's like, okay, restarting everything from scratch, and getting all your routines and everything, and uh just hearing you talk about your stuff, other than the fact that I got you know our next son being born, with the single that I just silently released from the pod when you guys saw. I am going to be releasing that, if not this month, definitely within the next 2 to 3. So it'll be in the first quarter of the year. I just don't know. I haven't picked a date yet, and I just don't want to just pick a date, because I want to get some cover art made too, and I probably won't be able to promote it as hard as the last one, but I'll at least give it some time to probably try to film some content for it, throw it out there, and just give people a link to listen to it, just because this is just going to be a filler thing to kind of just give people content while I'm away for a good
Mhm.
bit. And then playing shows, I'm probably not going to play too much this month, but I'll probably try to get back out there in late February, depending on my situation, and try to just get some gigs going. And since I'll have the time, depending on situations, and so the music's still going to be coming. And I also silently announced my home studio, that I am going to be starting to actually offer recording, mixing, and mastering to anybody who wants any services done. So it's mostly down here. I mean, it's not a professional studio by any means down here. I mean, when you come down here, you're coming into a family basement and a corner of a studio. Jim's seen it, he knows. But you can definitely record vocals down here. I have a full DIY vocal booth for recording vocals now. You can record acoustic guitar down here. We can record bass. I have an electric drum kit, so we can record a full band down here. But the only thing that I can't do is record an actual drum kit, because this is no by any means a good drum room that you would be able to like actually film and record an actual drum set. So I'm thinking of just recording singer songwriters, duos, trios, something like that. I mean, eventually down the line, I would love to record bigger bands that can actually take like an actual drum kit instead of an electronic. Uh, but I'm just starting off small. And if people want to, if any musicians that are listening to this and that they're in the area, and even if they're out of the area, I'm willing to start putting my portfolio out there to try to mix and master and record other people other than myself. And so I had to, not that I really had to, but I gave my little studio a little name finally. So it's going to be called AG Studios. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go to spokenlifemusic.com/AG /studios. I'll probably put it in the description if anybody wants to check that out. And if you are a musician, and I might not even uh discriminate with genre. I mean, I could probably record a hip hop guy. I don't really make beats, so if they come in with a beat and they just need somebody to record them on the beat, I can, put your vocals right on a beat and just master that right then and there. So
But it's got to be a guy, is what you're saying, though, right?
it's got to be a guy. Yeah. I ain't gonna be recording Cardi B or anything out here, but
Oh, how come, man? That'd be fun.
yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in case anybody hasn't heard, Anthony and Jen silently divorced for financial reasons, and Anthony and I actually went to the courthouse and tied the knot. So Anthony's now going by Anthony Green, hence the new name AG
Hence the new
Studios.
name, right? Spoiler. Times are rough. We all kind of just have to make the rash decisions. So we're just like, well, this is the best time. So we're like, let's just sign those papers.
Jen's insurance through her work was a lot better, and I was able to get Anthony covered on my insurance, so it was just an easier situation for everybody involved.
I forgot the name of the insurance. What was the name of the insurance again?
I was gonna say like 3 different things, and I was like, "Don't say any of them. we'd have to cut them out anyway."
When you're talking about hydration is not only for people training for championships and marathons. We're talking about daily maintenance people. Jim, did you know that 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated?
I believe it, Anth. I mean, honestly, in my line of work, dealing with teaching children and also dancing with adults my age, younger and older, I can almost tell based off of how well people not just perform athletically, but how we carry ourselves and how we communicate back and forth, our facial gestures and just our energy alone. I can tell when somebody's sluggish and they're sleep deprived versus they're just sluggish because they're a dried up sponge because they are dehydrated, right?
Absolutely. And for people like me who are working the 9 to 5, and, for me gigging at night, proper hydration is definitely crucial to maintain function throughout the day and keeping yourself energized. And that's why proper functional hydration is essential. And who's going to give it to you? Liquid IV, because Liquid IV is the #1 powered hydration brand in America. Their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. I like to use it first thing in the morning. I've been doing a lot of workouts here and there, so I pop it in my water bottle first thing in the morning. Gives me a little boost of energy, what I need. And sometimes during the day when I'm doing that like 2 o'clock, rundown, I'll pop a little one. If not in the morning, it gives me a little bit of that energy that I need. With just one stick, you can hydrate real life 2 times faster than water alone, plus get essential vitamins and 3 times the electrolytes as the leading sports drink. And not only that, Liquid IV comes in 12 delicious, refreshing flavors to keep your hydration routine exciting.
Yeah, Anth. I mean, for me personally, like my day to day, I'll wake up and pop a liquid IV just to get my day started and start off with proper hydration. And then I am like required to be physically active between the hours of like 2 or 3 p.m. until 9, 10, 11, sometimes midnight if I'm doing a backup gig. So I'll do another one maybe around noon, 1 p.m., and that'll keep me going throughout the day. And I just feel so much better. I don't even drink coffee on the regular like that because I don't need to pick me up unless if I'm like really just not sleeping much. And then I'm like, all right, get me that. I don't like to rely on caffeine unless I absolutely feel like I need it. Liquid IV does the trick for me. I don't know about you.
Again, one stick with liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficient than water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drinks, and it's made with quality ingredients, non-GMO, and free of gluten, dairy, and soy.
Liquid IV believes that equitable access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. They partner with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions that help communities protect both their water and their futures. To date, Liquid IV has donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world.
Yeah, man. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use our code 1SETPOD. That's 1SETPOD and at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code 1SETPOD at liquidiv.com. Dude, I've been getting this annoying itching feeling under my armpits from the deodorants I've been trying and using, and I can't seem to find something that works for me.
Have you ever tried maybe like a natural deodorant?
Natural deodorant? No. Are you insane?
No, but I am wild.
Oh,
Wild is the UK's #1 natural deodorant company that focuses on performance, sustainability, and style.
Their mission is to clean up the bathrooms by leaving it free of ugly, single use plastic bottles and unnecessary chemicals.
You know why Wild is great? Because it actually works and it's eco-friendly and contains over 98.5% natural ingredients.
They have a fully sustainable design with aluminum cases that last for a lifetime, plus biodegradable, recyclable refills. And you know what's cool? They can actually imprint your name on these aluminum cases for a small additional fee.
Wild is super convenient with flexible subscription options or paying as one-off purchases. And you can customize your order by choosing your case, color, and various scent combinations. I know I have the ocean mist, the fresh cotton and sea salt, and the orange and neroli flavors, and they all smell super great. And what's best about them is they don't just wear off immediately, and then all of a sudden you smell like BO.
Yeah, I've been rocking the sandalwood and patchouli scent right now. And again, great scent, lasts like throughout the day, that you're pretty much protected throughout the day. And I also was able to try the mint and aloe vera. Big aloe vera fan, right on point, long lasting, and you can look forward to these cases and scents in a limited edition every month.
Go wild today with a special discount of 25% off your first order when you get the code 1SETPOD at checkout. Go to wearewild.com and use the code 1SETPOD at checkout and enjoy.
Jeez. Just kidding, y'all. Anthony and I are
Kidding.
we love each other, but not like that. Okay.
We're fine.
We're not exactly Chuck and Larry over here, right?
Nah.
Not yet.
Domestic partnership. That's
That's
such
us.
a good movie. We should do that as a watch along this season too.
I am down for it. 100%.
Speaking of watch alongs, I mean, I know we put this in a watch along that we'll put out later on in the season. I don't know when, if not, it's gonna be sooner or later, but we'll talk about it now, and you guys will hear about it again because it's later in the episode. But we do want to start gathering people up on our Patreon to start having watch-alongs for you guys through the Patreon, so we can live chat with you guys in real time instead of just always putting out previously recorded watch-alongs. So if you guys want to sign up for the free Patreon, you know, go in the link in the description. If you're watching on Spotify, you can go to our YouTube links, and I think our Patreon links right on Spotify too. So if you guys want to sign up, there's a free account and there's paid accounts. You guys can watch the watch-alongs with us in real time. We're gonna figure out how to live stream it. I think it'll either be through YouTube or some type of way, but we'll be able to have a designated time to see what time works for everybody eventually, and we'll live stream. We'll give you guys dibs on like what you guys want to watch. We'll do like the watch along polls. We should probably bring that back in season 3 too. A lot of the watch along polls. I think we had a lot of fun doing that, so maybe we can do that as a public and a Patreon thing as well. But we definitely want to start popping off the Patreon too, so make sure you guys check out the Patreon. If you guys want to send out any tiers, there's 3 tiers there, so go check them out. And not just for watch alongs, but we always usually put up a couple extra bonus episodes here and there when we feel up to it, to give you guys some extra content behind behind a paywall. But yeah.
Sure. Honestly, I think the last couple months of last year, last season, is there were a couple of times there where we were like, what do we want to talk about? Cody Rhodes, right? And
Rhodes.
we were like, let's just do a watch along, and we just did it. But I do really like doing the polls and getting people to vote on what we should watch. And I remember the one I was like, Anthony, just put Brokeback Mountain on and let's see what happens.
And we all got that as the winner. I'm like, you son of a. So yeah, we'll definitely try to, if not this month, it probably will have to wait until we get back, so or at least I get back. So maybe late in the later in the first quarter this year, if not second quarter of the year. You're probably by springtime, maybe we can get that going back again. But you guys can always tell us in advance, what watch alongs, either it's a movie, a comedy special, whatever type of thing, TV show, some type of thing we can all watch along and have some fun.
Yeah, and literally, that's not. We're not discriminating against any genres there either. We'll watch something foreign with English subtitles if it's really good. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I've heard is really good. I'm not opposed.
I don't think I've ever seen that front to back. So
I just watched something a couple months ago, and it was in German, but it had English subtitles, and like you could kind of catch some of it, but some of it was very much like, okay, I'm not sure what they just said there, but I obviously read it. It was I'll have to look it up, and then Anth, maybe you can just like pop like an animation here on exactly what it was.
Right.
I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now. Cheyenne picked it out, and I was like, sure. It was like a murder mystery kind of thing. It was actually pretty fun.
I was sick over the summer or something, and when you're sick, you're just in bed doing nothing. And I watched Kill Bill for the first time, the first volume 1 and volume 2. They were going back to back. I'm like, well, I ain't doing anything else, and it was actually a pretty good movie. So I wouldn't mind watching that again. And I've never watched it before, so I've always seen little clips and people talking about it. But I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've seen like some clips here and there, and I know it's heavily regarded. Like I think Tarantino did it, right?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely, it has Tarantino written all over it. Yeah. And Uma Thurman as the main character, and yeah, definitely a really good flick.
Sweet. You do anything fun for New Year's at all? Like I said, I went away, and we'll get into that just a little bit. But.
Yeah, I really didn't do much. We sat at home pretty much all day. She's kind of getting a little more tired here and there, so she's been doing her frequent naps. I'll take over with Anth here and there. We'll just kind of hang out a little bit. And then, yesterday, New Year's Day, we had her mom, my parents come over and kind of hang out. We ordered out, had some dinner. So, last couple days before she went back to work, there wasn't really much, just kind of getting the house, tidied up for the newborn and just getting last minute things done, because like I said, it's kind of just day by day at this point, where everything's that we need packed for the hospital is just in my car now, so it's just living in my car until that time comes.
Yeah. We didn't do anything really either. I mean,
I saw it
we
snowed up there for you guys. That was cool.
yeah, it was cool because it snowed enough that it like covered.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like 6 inches of snow. It's not like we had
Right.
a tough time getting out of there or anything when we
That's
left.
good.
But yeah, I mean, we had football Saturday and Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
which it was week 17, so the playoff picture is all starting to shape.
Yeah.
And we'll have more football coming up this weekend. Um,
The season finale. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yes.
yells. Cheyenne's mom's boyfriend is a Dallas fan, and I was like, lovely.
Mm,
And then
sweet.
she's a Steelers fan, so I'm like, oh, of course, both of your teams get good wins this weekend, and the Eagles just completely let us down so bad, right?
Whoopsie.
Yeah, yes, seriously. Anth, help me out
When
here, because
when I
I
when I
mean,
saw that score, like, at the end of the second quarter, I'm like, "Cool, that's the score right now. We'll see what the second half is." And then they Cardinals just murdered us and took over
yeah,
the game. Even I
yep,
was looking at, the stats of the game in the first quarter, and it still seemed the Cardinals were outscoring us in stats, but we were just putting the points on the board. So I think
mhm,
they only really got 2 field goals, and we had 2 touchdowns and a field goal, I think. So we were at least putting points on the board, but then the second half, we just collapsed. I don't know what happened, and it's probably a big thing of play calling, players just being discouraged, because you can see it on all their faces. You can see it on Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, just the disgust of what's been going on, because they know they can play better. It's just and even the fans, they're just like, you can see them in the stands, like, what is going on? And the big thing that I
yeah,
posted about was that 3rd and 20 play that they had at the end of the game.
mhm,
You had 20 yards to go, and you do a shovel, like a 5-yard shovel pass. What are you looking for 5 yards when you got to go 20? And that they don't have any, long distance type plays. It's either like, oh, well, just do a shovel pass, or wait for that long distance Jalen Hurts. Hopefully somebody catches it. So it's just been all over the place. And I even think just Jalen's been really not even just about the players. I think it's just more the play calling, because they just go out there and do what plays are being told to them. But it's more the fact that at this point you should just be going audible every play, because that's not going to work, or it's not probably not the best play to be doing that now.
yeah. I mean, it's not good. It's really not good. I have like no high hopes for the playoffs. I mean, I know we're
No,
already in. We're already in, but
we don't
yeah,
deserve to win. That's the thing.
we were talking about this before we started recording. Um, you mentioned it, and I said this days ago, where I was like, just sit our starters next week and let us like take the lower seed in the playoff run. Like, Niners are already secured as the 1 seed.
Yep.
They'll get the first week bye and home field advantage, and yeah, I get it. We have a chance to switch out with Dallas to become the 2nd seed, and then we would have home field until we would have almost inevitably play the Niners if we make it that far. I don't think we're
I
making it
think we
past.
would at least get 2 home games, which is always good. But at this point, they've been losing home and away, so it's not even home field advantage hasn't even played to our advantage at this point. So it's just we just have to figure out what's been going wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they're going to do it.
as it stands, if we're the 5th seed, we would wind up playing whoever the winner of the NFC South is. As of now, it's the Bucks, and we would play in Tampa Bay, which we did earlier in the season, and we pulled out the win, but it wasn't by much. So,
Right.
Um,
and I think that was like you said, it was a close game, and it came down to like 1 or 2 plays where if it would have went a different way, we would have lost that game too.
yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean, with the way that we've been playing lately, if that were the case and we went to play in Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay would have our number, and then we would just be done. If we picked up the 2nd seed instead of Dallas, and we would play the 7th seed, which as of now is the Packers. And I'll tell you what, I watched the Packers and Vikings game. That was Sunday night. Was that Sunday night? No. That was yeah. That was Sunday night. I was confused because I just came home yesterday. It was Sunday night, and I'll tell you what, man, the Packers look good. They are a young team, and they're not messing around. Like they know what they're doing. The Vikings.
After that Eagles game, I couldn't even watch any more football. So
Yeah.
I was done. I was done after that.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just horrible performance, and you can say it like 20,000 times. Just and the defense itself was just like horrible. It couldn't make a tackle, couldn't keep them off the field. And I mean, you're playing a 3-12 team. This team is like bottom of the totem pole, and you couldn't even stop them. Once we take the field goal after that 3rd and 20, I'm like, they're going to go back and score. It's easy that they're going to lose this game because the defense hasn't stopped them all second half. So they're going to run them down the field, and they're going to get a touchdown in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the other team records, and there's the Patriots are also 4-12 now that the Cardinals are 4-12. The only team under them is the Panthers. They're just the worst team of the season. Easy. Dude, after the Eagles game, we had the Steelers game, which I could get excited for because I'm
back.
You there? Okay.
I saw the lost connection come back. I'm like, please come back. Okay, we're good.
I was like, where'd he go? All good. Yeah, the Panthers are 2-14. So when you say bottom of the totem pole, it's them, and then it's the Cardinals and Patriots, and we lost at home to what was then 3-12 team, and
pathetic.
It merits mention or warrants mentioning Arizona's head coach being Jonathan Gannon, which was our old defensive coordinator. So
he's been waiting for that all season.
Yeah, and you messaged me that after we lost. You were like, he's been waiting for this game all season. It's the only game that mattered to him. Once he knew how bad that they were doing all year, he was like, if we beat the Eagles, I'll be happy.
Get me to the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, he can say I'll be happy, and I'm sure it was a little boost of confidence for him. But at the same time, it's like you're still only 4-12. Like your job isn't that secure, buddy. Like so,
right. And even the announcers after the game, after that last touchdown by the Cardinals, they were saying like, you have to come in with a proper game plan. When you're dealing with a team that you probably automatically feel you can beat, you still have to come in with a good regular game plan. Not saying the Eagles didn't, but they obviously didn't execute anything that they wanted to try to do. I mean, I didn't really start watching the game until the middle of the second quarter because I didn't realize they had the 1:00 game. I thought they had the 4:00 game, so I missed the first quarter in like a half. So once I started seeing, I'm like, all right, well, we're up 14-3 or something. I'm like, maybe they'll pull this out. But then I'm like, well, we had the same thing going last week where we were up 2 touchdowns, and then all hell broke loose on that, and then they came back, and we were just struggling back and forth with that too.
Well, and it's like I was messaging you like towards the end of the game. I was like, the whole like first stretch of the season for us, we couldn't get it right in the first half, and then we were coming back from behind and just barely pulling off these wins, right? And
Yep.
and then we show a dominant first half performance, and then just completely shut down in the second half. And I was just like,
Yep.
this is unbelievable right here. I mean, it was unbelievable, and then I started just saying they're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game, and then sure enough, like that is the like level of faith that we have in this Eagles team right now. It's like 4 to 6 weeks ago, it was like, no, we're still going to the Super Bowl. Like we're going to get that one seed. We were still one of the highest like scored teams as far as record was concerned in the whole NFL. And now in
really
a short few weeks, we're the 5th seed team in the NFC, which like, again, there are teams out there fighting to be in the playoffs. Like we're definitely there, but again, I don't have faith that we're even going to make it past the first game. Like the way that we're playing now,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would rather they didn't, because then I could just be like, okay, Eagles are done, and like I'll decide on what team that I'd like to root for. I do like the Bills are on the up and up right now. They are.
I'll tell you what, like you were saying, the Packers. I'll tell you what, people need to be scared of the Ravens right now. The Ravens look polished up. They look good.
Well, they're the only 13-3 team. I'll tell you that. They have the highest record going.
I'll tell you what, I definitely wouldn't be surprised you see San Fran and the Ravens match up again in the playoffs.
Well, it would be the Super Bowl because they're separate conferences. But
yeah, so I would not be surprised if that might be the Super Bowl.
Very much looks like it right now. Both teams
that'll be a good game again, because they did pretty well in that. What was it, the Sunday night game or a Monday night game that they had? I think it was a Sunday night game.
That was last week, because
the last week's Sunday night game, right?
Ravens just absolutely crushed the Dolphins. I'll tell you that. It was like 56-19 or something like that.
Yeah.
and I mean, they played the 1:00 game, so like I was watching the Eagles game. I wasn't really paying attention too much to like the other team's scores and what was going on. But I know at the half, the Ravens were up on the Dolphins by like a touchdown. I was like, okay, still a game. And then it was like the beginning of the fourth quarter where I checked again, and I was like, okay, Dolphins are not winning this one by a long shot. They were down by like 30 some points. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay.
Right.
Might
as well sit out that one. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. And the Steelers, their playoff probability right now, according to NFL.com playoff standings, is 29%. So I mean, they'd have
a digit.
They'd have to beat the Ravens this weekend. Now, the only way that could happen is if the Ravens just sit their starters.
Yeah,
because
they'll have a better chance. But yeah, because I mean, they don't have to really play their starters in this.
No, they don't. Case, so. They have the first seed clinched, so they're. I mean, why? Like, why not sit your starters? Give them the extra rest.
And like I told you off air before we started, I feel I wouldn't even play the Eagles starters, because you're getting no lower than a 5th seed, and if you win against the Giants, you do clinch the division as long as Dallas loses. But I don't think they're going to lose to the Commanders, because they're kind of on a run right now as well. So you kind of have to hope that Dallas loses, and you have to pull out a win in New York. But even then, it's like there's no point of trying to risk more injury if you're trying to win that first playoff game, which is going to be a long shot. But if you're trying to think of focusing on that first playoff spot, sit the starters and just play your backups, and just see what happens.
Yeah, and
the Giants have nothing to play for as well, so.
Yeah, and I mean, if we were able to secure the second seed somehow and play the seventh seed, like the seventh seed right now is the Packers.
Hmm.
It very well could be, um, it could be the Seahawks. If if the if the Bucks win, um, there's no NFC South wild card. Like the Saints wouldn't make it into the wild card even if the Bucks lost. If the
Right.
Bucks lost, if the Bucks lost and the Saints won, the Saints would take the fourth seed,
Okay.
and then we would play them if we had the fifth seed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the seventh seed, it's gonna be either the Rams or the Packers or the Seahawks. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to play any of them
No.
because I mean I know we beat the Rams and um we didn't beat the Seahawks. And
The only team we really blew out this year was the Dolphins. Everything else was like by one touchdown, one field goal, or maybe a touchdown. Everything else, there wasn't any blowouts this year.
yeah, I mean I know we won against the Giants last week, but it wasn't like
No,
it wasn't a dominant win. It was like
no. It came down to a field goal or a touchdown, I think.
yeah, it was a close game. And I'm like, if it's a close
Like,
game with the Giants at home, like, come on. Like
and that's what I mean. Like last year, we were blowing out teams like by 20, 30 points. So that was at least something you can get by. Like, dude, we're blowing out these teams. Like, this is, insane. This year, we have 10, 11 wins, but they were just barely won. And again, we can say it now. They were lucky wins.
Yeah.
They were definitely lucky. And we were saying that before that, hey, they're just getting by. But no, we're definitely saying they were lucky to get those wins because they're playing like a team that should only have won realistically, like not even 5. They should be
Yeah.
like a 5 or 6 game winning team at this point with the way that they're playing. They don't look like an 11 game winning team.
No. I mean, last year when we went to the Super Bowl, I think we lost to the Chiefs by 3 points. It was a close game.
It was because we came back at that last minute, but we just couldn't get that because of that last little play, the holding call. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, for us to go beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead this season was kind of like, okay, like we won the Super Bowl rematch. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. And then we kept doing pretty all right, like getting these wins. But yeah, I mean, no, it was after the Chiefs game. Well, after the Chiefs game was when we played the Bills and it went into overtime. And that was real scary, right? Yeah, but then after that, we just started
Whoopsie.
the bed bad, man. I mean, seriously. I don't know, man. I don't really have much else to say for the Eagles for now. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think
we just
I
gotta
don't.
hope that they turn something around because at this point, there's not much you can change in the game plans at this point. It's just do with what you have and kind of just make minor things. You're not gonna do a whole new game plan at this point.
Right. All right. Should we switch gears here to the other big thing?
Yeah, let's get to some other big news in the wrestling field. Where do you want to start off with?
Uh,
Because we haven't
I
had
mean-
any like big wrestling talk in a little bit, so we can spend a little bit of the rest of the time talking a little bit about our wrestling news.
yeah. I mean, and let's just start with AEW only because I have a few short notes. They did have the World's End pay-per-view Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Samoa Joe beats MJF, it's his first major title win in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he went to WWE, they had him face Brock Lesnar, they had him in some big matches,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think he ever held any of the belts there, like at
I don't
all.
think so. I don't think so.
Which is
He
fine.
was
Like,
definitely, he definitely wrestled in those big matches, but never got the gold. No.
well, and I think the thing was like Triple H brought him into NXT, but there was no real. I read that there was no real move for him to go to the main roster and get like a massive push. Now, granted, like I said, he did land in some of those big matches. He had good matches like on the main
Yeah.
roster, but never had like a major title win or title run or anything like that. So to see him getting the AEW world title at this point in his career, I think is pretty freaking cool. I'm for it.
Yeah. I'm definitely
MJ
happy for
MJF had the belt for, I want to say it was more than a year. It's been some time.
Yeah.
Apparently he's been dealing with some uh minor injuries,
Mm-hmm.
but he wanted to see like the devil storyline pan out, and
Right.
um given his history with Adam Cole, and Adam Cole wound up being revealed as the devil. um yeah, I mean,
Okay, so they did finally reveal that. Okay, because I was looking at
yeah,
that. Everybody's like, "Oh, who's this devil?" That's the dude with the white face, right? They were kind of
yeah, yeah,
okay. So it was Adam Cole. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
because everybody was like, "Oh, who's that?" The white devil or the devil mask dude. So, yeah, the white
White Devil.
devil.
Ace Ventura reference. Nice, nice.
Leave that part out from now on.
Leave that part out from now on.
Yeah, that's cool. At least because I mean, I'm glad. Like just like Samoa Joe, I'm glad Adam Cole is getting his time in AEW, kind of doing some big things there too. So,
Well, he had a couple of fluke injuries too, which like
Mhm.
really stinks. He came in hot,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
obviously it was his debut and Daniel Bryan's debut back to back.
right. That is true. Yeah.
Um, and then they both wound up having some injuries here and there, and were off. And then Edge, Adam Copeland comes in, and it was like a huge deal. And I gotta tell you, I have not watched like any AEW like at all. I just know, I see what's happening through like Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
Pretty much the
Um,
same here. Hmm.
yeah, or Instagram. And I did hear he had his match with Christian and won, and then somehow Christian got the title back
Hmm.
like a couple minutes after that. Um, like
Right.
like you said before we started, that feud's not over. In fact, they'll both retire together, obviously, right?
Yeah. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about it a couple episodes back that, I don't see it being just a one off. They'll have one match. They might go on a couple of the matches, then they'll come back to this as like a retirement thing. Because I can't see them not ending their careers together with one last match.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, whether that is in AEW or if they make their way back to WWE somehow, I don't know how long they're. I think I read that Adam Copeland's contract was a multi-year deal with AEW, so I mean, he's at the end of his career. Like he's probably going to wrap it up there, right?
maybe what,
Um,
like 2-3 years, you'd say? Seems about
yeah,
right. Multi-year. When you
yeah,
say multi-year, maybe like 2-3 years,
yeah.
give or
I
take.
don't think he signed a 5-year deal. I mean, he's
Nah.
he's in his early 50s,
Yeah.
or I think he's in his upper 40s. Like I think he's 47 or 48.
Yeah, I think he's pushing 50. Yeah.
Internet quick. I'll look it up. I know
Yeah.
we did this
Even
before.
even
I just
even Christian,
yeah.
his stuff is like coming towards the end too. So
Okay. He just turned 50 in October. So I
right.
was right there. Christian Cage. He is okay. He also just turned 50 in November. So
Yeah. So they're at the hump.
yeah. I mean, the only thing I could see is if they both left AEW, went back to WWE just to have a WrestleMania retirement match.
Mm-hmm.
They would do it like Triple H. He would do that for them, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. Their contracts are probably long enough in AEW that they'll just do it there.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the only other AEW note that I have here is apparently Mercedes Moné Sasha Banks has a 5-year deal on the table from AEW. It's apparently like for a good amount of money. I thought that she was going to be making a surprise Rumble return. But again, we were talking about this before we started. There's just a big pool of women's wrestlers in WWE right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think she knows if she goes to AEW, she's going to be the top female star. So why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah. or they could pull it off like they did with Adam Copeland, just going back and forth with him saying like, oh, he's not going to leave WWE, he's got it in with them, and then he shows up on AEW. So you never know. They could have probably, they could have just kept this on a hush hush, and she could end up in the Royal Rumble. You never know.
Right. And
but the chances of it, I can understand it being that she probably won't, because knowing her with the past of WWE, she, like we were saying off, that if she's not getting a good deal and she knows that she can have the potential to get another championship or be one of the top women, and they're just giving her, the bare minimum or at least some good cash, but nothing to be like wowed about, she'll just walk away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely see AEW as like the landing spot for her at this point.
Yeah.
It just,
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if she isn't on Dynamite tomorrow night. Well,
Yeah,
by the time that this drops on Friday, she'll have either debuted on Dynamite. I don't see them debuting her on Collision on Saturday. I think that's a waste just because their views are low. They would debut her on Dynamite, and then she would have her first match on Collision, and then people would go watch it on Saturday, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll follow up with that one down the road. If we don't see her in AEW before the Rumble, then I'll say, okay, she's probably coming out at the Rumble, right? This is a good way to transition over. Apparently, Andrade's contract is up with AEW, so people thought that he was going to be the Triple H tweeted that a former champion was showing up for day one on Monday Night Raw. People thought it was going to be him. I was stoked for it. I'm a big Andrade fan. I love his work.
Yes.
And with Charlotte still being with WWE, I figured it was only a matter of time that either he would go back or she would go there. But I don't know. I know Charlotte's out for like 9 months now. So
right, because of her knee. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think Andrade makes his return at the Rumble. Like
I could definitely see that one. It would be nice to see him back in the WWE.
Yeah. So the returning former world champion was Jinder Mahal. So good, right?
I was stoked.
Were you? Were you though? Yeah,
you see it on her face, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so stoked.
Not.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock comes out, and he showed up back in September on SmackDown after SummerSlam, and it's like, oh, okay, The Rock's here, and then everyone's like rumbling, like, oh, they might do the Roman thing finally. And then he has his bit with Jinder, which was what it was. It was fine.
It was typical Rock. Yeah.
And then he dropped the line of the head of the table at the end, and it's like, okay, they're doing it. Like it's
happening. Yeah.
It's happening, right?
Oh my god.
okay, it's happening, right?
But now the thing is, like how we were saying, when does it happen? This is obviously a WrestleMania capable match by far.
It's been the match we've all been waiting for, and it should headline WrestleMania. It can happen without the belt. I don't care.
Yeah. It doesn't. It definitely does not need a belt. So like we've said before, you can have Roman obviously doing both nights. He faces Cody Rhodes Saturday night, loses the belt, and then rolls in Sunday night facing The Rock, and it's just for no title at all. Because again, because you're not going to get The Rock facing for a title because he's not going to be there probably after WrestleMania. If anything, he'll be there until SummerSlam, but you don't know how long his contract will be, and not like you're going to see him now until Mania. We probably won't even see him for another couple months until Mania.
Yeah, I mean, I think the more surprising thing to me was how I went to watch the Eagles game. I tuned in for like the pregame stuff, and there's Dwayne Johnson on the TV, and they announced the UFL, which I didn't want to get too much into this because I didn't look into it too much. I just know
Mhm.
USFL and XFL merged, and now it's a UFL. And they
Right.
made they made the announcement. UFL is
In
launching
March.
March 30th. Yeah, and so I'm thinking, okay, March 30th. That's like the week of WrestleMania. So I'm like, is he even going to be around for WrestleMania at that point? So
Mm.
that's the only thing where, you know, that it could be in the way of him doing Mania. And apparently the Elimination Chamber being in Perth, which is in Australia,
Mhm.
they want The Rock there, and people are like, oh, well, then maybe The Rock and Roman can just be in Australia, and then we can get Roman and Cody at Mania. They might do that. I know you and I don't want to see that, because that is the WrestleMania main event that we've been waiting for years
Mhm.
now, right?
Unless you have The Rock kind of go through somebody else under Roman first, and with Roman, and then Roman being the deciding factor of the match where Rock loses that match, and that even escalates the match further for Roman and The Rock. Now he has some purpose to actually go after Roman, because
Right.
at this point he's only taken a shot at him. There hasn't really been a positive thing like, hey, I either want your belt, or he hasn't given like a reason why he wants, other than just to be the head of the table. But it's not like, oh well, do you want the belt, or do you just want, the bragging rights? So I think if they give The Rock like Taz point two oh or something, or Jimmy Uso or something, which I don't think, I would think the other one before anything else. But I would think that, and then you get Roman distracting Rock, causing him the match, then you have something going into the road of WrestleMania.
So you said Taz 2.0. You were talking about Solo. I didn't even get that until after like 30
Yeah,
seconds after you said it.
I'm talking about the return of Taz to come back into the bloodline, and yeah, because I totally forgot the name Solo, so I'm like, it's Taz 0.20. So
Oh man.
2.0,
Yeah.
not 0.20.
Yeah, 2.0. So I don't know. I
A
know
lot of ways.
everybody's like, Cody's the guy to dethrone Roman. So many people want Randy Orton winning the belt and having Randy versus Cody at Mania for the belt. I'm game, but I don't see them ending Roman's reign, because they're trying to pass the Hogan reign, right? And they're like, we've made it this far. Why drop it just to give it to Cody? He's got until September to beat Hogan's reign, and he's held it for 1,200 days now. You might as well just
Yeah.
keep running with it and get past Hogan's reign.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much more to speak on in that regard, other than it is happening. It's not happening, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm stoked for it. It's gonna be a good match. I mean, I'm hoping they decide to have it as a WrestleMania, because it'll be, obviously the biggest match of that whole weekend, of course. But
yeah.
I'm hoping they give it a good storyline and build up to it, instead of it just being, no substance. Just, we're putting them both in a ring and letting them fight for the head of the table. I want some type of good, background story with it. We know the whole Samoan family thing with it, but I want some type of good, you know, family, I know this person, you grew up with me in this type of way, and yeah, I looked up to you and now I'm in this business. I want that whole family like line, all succumbed up to this moment, you know what I mean?
I think it's the most anticipated match of all time that is going to happen,
Mhm.
in my opinion. I mean, there are way higher anticipated matches that didn't wind up happening. I know Undertaker versus The Rock at WrestleMania never happened, and people were waiting for it, right? Um,
Mhm.
The Rock being where he is now, he's like the biggest guy in Hollywood. I mean, I don't know any other wrestling match that has happened that is this big. I mean, I think The Rock and Hogan at Mania 17 was that level massive, and I can't think of anything in the last 25 years that I've been like that's going to be the blockbuster match of all time.
Yeah.
Um, I know like when John Cena returned after COVID and they did John Cena and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I think they did that at SummerSlam, right? That was
I think
big.
that was a big one. Yeah.
That was big. I actually looked forward to that more than any of the Brock and Roman matches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like the sequence that they went in because I forget who Roman beat, and then John Cena came out, and
I
then
forget. Yeah.
and then Roman beat John Cena, and then Brock Lesnar came out. Like the way that they did that,
Yeah.
and they did that when I think it was. I think it might. I forget if it was Money in the Bank or one of the other summer, because sometimes the summer pay-per-views or PLEs, like they change up the names. I forget which one it was and who Roman faced, and then Cena came out. I don't know.
Yeah. I forget.
I'm getting lost in my thoughts here. Sorry about that.
I
But
was trying to think. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
no, what I was trying to say is when they did those pay-per-views was when full-fledged fans in the stands was a thing. So
Yeah.
it's like they had John Cena and Brock Lesnar waiting, and then once they went back to full-blown live events again, they were like, okay, we're gonna hit hard with the product now. And it worked. It worked, right?
Yeah, I can agree. This is definitely a match that everybody, ever since I think Roman started calling himself, the tribal chief, head of the table, everybody just instantly started saying, "Hey, we need Rock to get in here and show this guy up," because obviously everybody knows was the top big person of the Samoan family. So Roman saying that he is, you obviously need to get Roman and Rock in here. So knowing that we are definitely going to get some type of match between them coming soon, it's like the ending to the story that we've all wanted. It's just a matter of how this is going to end. We already have the downfall of the bloodline that's pretty much came into sorts. So you don't know whether, you could also get Jay coming in on this back and helping The Rock, defeat Roman. So there's gonna be a lot of different possibilities, and we might have to make it a part two with everything. But it's a lot of different possibilities. I'm stoked to kind of continue to kind of scope it out as the weeks go by with, because you're going to get Roman, if not Friday, would be tonight when this comes out. If not tonight, then within these next couple Fridays, kind of saying something about The Rock. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun road to Mania. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. We are definitely on that road. We're getting to the Rumble, and then we are on the road to WrestleMania. So this is going to be fun, man.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Anth, anything you'd like to say before we wrap this one up?
Yes, one thing before we get out of here. I know in episode 100 last season, we revealed to you guys, Jim did his first reveal of a dance video. I recorded a song. I put it out for you guys. My thing for the end of this season, it would be kind of cool. I think it would be a good challenge for both of us because it would be something that is out of our comfort zone, but something that would be pretty fun. I would want to see if Jim choreographs a dance for me to do, and then I do I get Jim to try to play some type of, maybe not a full song on guitar, but maybe a guitar riff or something. And he, does that. And then we share it with you guys to see how we did. And maybe we do like and maybe not do it like who did it better, but like just kind of see like, okay, how close to the original, like you do the dance and then I have to record myself doing the dance. I'll do the song and you record yourself doing the song on guitar. So I think that would be kind of cool, something to kind of just challenge ourselves. Something, because obviously I'm not a dancer, you're not a guitar player, but we have a little bit of, practice of on both spectrums. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm down because that I did start playing. My guitar is right over there. I see it. But it would give me a year to like practice to be like,
and that's why I figured I'd say it now. So if we have some type of preparation, we at least have a little bit of time to start thinking about like, okay, like choreographing something, and then me thinking of like a little, 1 to 2 minute type of riff type of thing.
I'm game. I'm down. Challenge accepted.
Fun.
Yeah.
Let us know if you guys would want to see that. We'll have to think of like a title and type of thing for it, but I think that'll be something cool to see and something more anticipated for the season finale of this season. So Let us know if you guys want to see that at the end of this year for the season finale.
Yeah. Everyone, Happy New Year again. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Season 3. What episode number is this? We're at like 104, 105 now.
105, dude.
Yeah, 105.
It's crazy. But yeah, season 3 into our 3rd season of the podcast. I am stoked. I have a feeling this is going to be one of our best seasons yet. I have good hopes and high hopes for this season, and I hope you guys are ready for the ride along with us.
Well, we have only 2 seasons behind us, and we can say like the first season we were like just finding our way, and then last season we had a pretty steady groove going of like how to handle the situation. So we're excited for new things and new challenges, and just sharing our lives with everybody. Obviously, right? We kind of do that along the way. Again, any day now. So this may be your last one for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm back next week, I'll see you guys next week. If I'm not, I'm gonna miss you guys. I'll be back when I can. So in time, this has been One Set.
That's it.